What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. The $600 stimulus checks are already showing up in Americans' bank accounts. That's the good news. Just this morning, I received emails from people from California, Florida, Texas, Vermont, and Michigan that all received their full stimulus checks either late last night or early this morning. So that is good news. This is very welcoming news, especially being that a lot of Americans are currently suffering and are hurting for this money. $600 is not a lot of money. $2,000 would have been great, but that's still in discussion. Right now, even if it's just $600, being that the Treasury Department has issued this money so quickly, it's going to help out millions and millions of Americans. But just because the $600 stimulus checks have been sent does not mean the $2,000 stimulus check talks are over. They're just beginning, and they will most likely only ramp up as we move further and further into the coming weeks. So that is the good news. Just a short time ago, President Trump reiterated how much he wants $2,000 stimulus checks. He posted a tweet on Twitter, and it said this: $2,000 ASAP. That's it. Very simple and to the point. Now, what I want you to understand is yesterday, Mitch McConnell rejected the $2,000 stimulus check amendment that the House passed on Monday. He rejected this twice in one meeting. Now, just because he rejected this does not mean he doesn't support a $2,000 stimulus check, and he would not bring a $2,000 stimulus check to the floor of the Senate. But what we do know, and we know this now, and I did a video on this later last night. If you didn't get a chance to watch that, don't go and watch it, because I'll fill you in on this, on what happened late last night, and I'll fill you in on that in today's video. But what we now know is Mitch McConnell opposed to the House's bill of $2,000 as a standalone amendment simply because he had his own bill. He's proposing his own bill. And we saw the bill. I went through the bill. It's 16 pages. It's not very long. It's not like this 5,000 page or 55, I think it's 5,593 page omnibus and stimulus package for $900 billion. It's not that big. It's only 16 pages. But this bill, it does include $2,000 stimulus checks. However, it doesn't include the path to get to $2,000 stimulus checks is a little rockier. There's some hills in the way. There's some hurdles. There's obstacles. And this is something that I don't know if we can overcome. But according to Mitch McConnell's plan, his package, he does propose and he does support $2,000 stimulus checks. And according to multiple Republicans yesterday, we have the 13 votes from Senate Republicans to go along with the 47 votes from Democrats and Independents to reach the 60 vote target. So right now, if Mitch McConnell were to put a bill on the floor that included $2,000 stimulus checks and only $2,000 stimulus checks, it would pass through the Senate. It already passed through the House. We know President Trump would most likely sign it, and we would have $2,000 stimulus checks. The problem is, Mitch McConnell didn't make it that easy. Now, like I said, if you didn't get a chance to go and watch that video yesterday, don't watch it. I'm going to explain what is in this bill right now. Mitch McConnell proposed the following: $2,000 stimulus checks to filers, which is great. $2,000 stimulus checks to their spouse, which is awesome. And no, not $2,000 for dependents, $600 for dependents, but only child dependents. As for adult dependents, anybody 17 and older, what do they get? Well, you're looking at it right there. Goose egg, zero, nothing, nada. They don't get anything. And this is what is going to have Democrats very upset because, and this personally, this has me a little bit upset as well, because why should we not be giving our senior citizens who struggle, who have very little income, that they are a dependent on their child's tax return? Why can't we support them? They need support as well. These are the people that pretty much paved the way for us, my generation. So for me personally, I think these people, these senior citizens that are struggling, that have very little, they should get something too. That Maybe that's just me. Let me know down in the comment section below. How do you feel? Do you think this proposal by Mitch McConnell, $2,000 for filers, $2,000 for their spouse, $600 for child dependents, and $0 for adult dependents, do you think that is an adequate compromise? Or do you feel $2,000 across the board is a must? Let me know down in the comment section below how you feel about it. Also, in addition to the $2,000 stimulus checks, $600 for child dependents and $0 for adult dependents, we have a complete repeal of Section 230. This is also in the bill. And we have the creation of an election fraud commission for the 2020 election. Now, I'm all for making sure our elections are, safe and secure. I'm all for that. I think we should only be counting the ballots that were filed on time, that were filed, legally. However, this bill is only calling for this commission to pretty much run for the 2020 election, not anything in the future. So how can we go back but we don't go forward? I think it needs to be pretty much across the board. If we're going to go back and have an election fraud commission for 2020, it needs to happen for 2024, 2028, 2032, and so on. It has to happen. So that's what's in the bill. President Trump is calling on all three of these things. All three. But here's one thing he did not say. President Trump called for $2,000 stimulus checks for families, including dependents. That's what we know. President Trump has reiterated this multiple times on Twitter. But Mitch McConnell only addressed the $2,000 stimulus checks to the filers and their spouses, not dependents, not children. But that's only one problem. The other problem is Democrats will never go for the last two provisions here, last two pieces of legislation. Why would they? They won't. So, here's where we stand. Democrats are urging Republicans to pass the $2,000 stimulus checks as a standalone amendment, not add to it. By adding to it, like Mitch McConnell has done, here's what is ultimately going to happen. Democrats will either just completely reject it and it will go away, or Democrats will come back with a counteroffer, and most likely Mitch McConnell will pretty much let that sit and go away, and we will just drag this out for another month or so. Unless Democrats win the 2 seats in Georgia. That could ultimately change everything. Everything. If Republicans win 1 seat or they win both seats, it doesn't change anything. It doesn't change anything at all. It's the only if Democrats were to win. So, what happens now? First, we know Mitch McConnell, this bill was released last night. My guess is it's going to be on the Senate floor today for a vote, and it will most likely, just my guess, it most likely will not pass. My guess is every single Democrat in the Senate will vote against this, and it will be blocked. Then, Mitch McConnell and the Senate Republicans will most likely hold a press conference, provide interviews and things like that to tell the media that Democrats blocked their bill when Democrats have been asking for $2,000 stimulus checks. It just makes no sense. So they're going to go and play dumb like they didn't know what just happened. But this is the same thing that Democrats have done. Nancy Pelosi has done this for a while, and she's tried to play dumb, over and over again. Sometimes she plays really dumb, but in some instances, it works to her favor that the media is like, she can't be that dumb, so this must be what's happening, when really it's not. She's just playing that dumb. So right now, it's just back to another political game. Because, and I say this, because Mitch McConnell is just trying to put the ball back into Nancy Pelosi's court. That's all she's trying to do. Put it back on the Democrats, saying that, we passed this, which technically they're not going to pass, but we proposed this, and Democrats blocked our bill. So, what's the next step? Well, the other issue is, even though Mitch McConnell might do something now, okay, and if he does, great, but the House is adjourned for the year. They're not coming back, in 2020. Granted, we have 1 day. Today's December 30th. We've got December 31st tomorrow, and then we have New Year's Day. So, here's where we're at. Even Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, he had this to say late last night. He said, Senator McConnell knows how to make $2,000 survival checks reality, and he knows how to kill them. If Senator McConnell tries loading up the bipartisan House-passed Cash Act with unrelated partisan provisions that will do absolutely nothing to help struggling families across the country, it will not pass the House and cannot become law. Any move like this by Senator McConnell would be a blatant attempt to deprive Americans of a $2,000 survival check. So, what we know is that right now it's just another political game. Chuck Schumer is right. It's a survival check. It's a $2,000 survival check. Not a stimulus check. It's not, yes, it's going to stimulate the economy, but what's going to do on top of that, what's going to be even better than stimulating the economy right now, is making sure the American people can get through this pandemic. That's the main thing. That's the goal. And this is a $2,000 survival check. Mitch McConnell knows that by adding Section 230 repeal and a commission for election fraud, no Democrat's going to go for that. So right now, here's what we know. Being that we're only 6 days away from the Georgia Senate runoff election on January 5th, here's my expectations. I don't see anything happening or getting done before that anyways. Negotiations will happen. Votes could happen. As far as both the House and Senate agreeing and President Trump signing it, I don't see that happening before January 5th. That's 6 days away. We're very close. Republicans, they want to stand united and look like they're strong. They want to be strong right before this election, or at least going into it. Democrats, on the other hand, are most likely to be content waiting the 6 days in hopes that Democrats win back the majority in the Senate. That's what we know. I only say this because right now passing a bill with 2 Democratic poison pills included in it is very unlikely. But if Democrats win both seats, Chuck Schumer would go from minority leader to majority leader in the Senate, which means he could bring any bill to the floor. He could bring the $2,000 standalone amendment that the House passed on Monday. He could bring that to the floor. And according to multiple reports, and according to Josh Hawley, we have the 13 Republican votes. So, what I can tell you right now is if Democrats win, look for the $2,000 standalone proposal or amendment to hit the Senate floor, and it will most likely get passed. One thing I can say, this will show President Trump's hand. If he was sure and he knew $2,000 stimulus checks is exactly what he wanted, this could be the way to get it. But if he doesn't want $2,000 stimulus checks and this was a negotiation tactic to get Section 230 repealed and have some type of election fraud commission set up, then this is going to show his hand and show if he was serious or not. So, as always, this changes quickly. This changes very often. So as it does, I promise I'll keep you updated. Now, in COVID-related news, the United States yesterday reported over 201,000 new cases of COVID, and they reported more than 3,700 deaths. You know, the numbers are starting to tick up. To make matters even worse, experts say that due to the extreme holiday travel numbers, we expect a spike in COVID cases and deaths in the next couple of weeks. And to make bad news even worse, yesterday the first strain of the new COVID variant, B117, has been found in a person in Colorado. But experts warn that this person did not travel, so they cannot be the only one in the United States that has this variant of the COVID case that we saw in the UK. So right now they're saying things could get worse and extremely worse before they even get better. Now, I'm not telling you this to make you worry. I'm just telling you this so that you stay updated on what's currently going on. So, just wanted to tell you guys this is what we know regarding COVID and stimulus at this point in this morning. So, consider subscribing so I can continue to keep you updated on everything that's going on. And I'll see you guys on the next one.